For designers who need to work in Adobe Illustrator with precision, the Curvature Visualizer by Astute Graphics translates the mathematics behind vector curves into a visual guide, which you can use to analyze and perfect your curved paths. If you work in font design or industrial design, anywhere elegant curves matter, you'll find this indispensable. You'll need to have the Stylism plugin from Astute Graphics installed. Then to open the panel, go to the Window menu and choose Astute Graphics and AG Curvature Visualizer. Here I have a simple curve. I'll select it and go over to the Curvature Visualizer panel and click the Apply button. And now I can see the visualization. Because this is an effect, it's very flexible. So in the Appearance panel, you can toggle the visibility off and on by clicking the I button. Now let's look at how to interpret what we're seeing here on the curve. In the panel, there's a gradient traveling from green to red. Over on my artwork, the anchor point on the left has the steepest curve, and it's shown in red, and the color gradates toward yellow and green as the curve flattens out. And the height of the gradient is echoing that transition as it moves from a steep to a shallow curve. And at this anchor point, we can see an interruption in the continuity of the curve. The left side of the anchor point has a steeper curvature, and the right side is more shallow. It's a mathematical difference that would be difficult to see without this visualization. We can use this information to help us make subtle adjustments to the curve handles, just changing the length and the angle of the handles. Now we can see the visualization has a much better flow, and so we know that mathematically this is a more elegant, more continuous curve. Now let's take a look at the settings that will help you adjust the visualization. Here I have an ampersand selected. In Outline View we can see it's expanded, but you can also apply this effect to live font type. Now I'll go over to the panel and click the Apply button, and we can see the color here is mostly green, and that's because the Absolute setting is turned on by default. Absolute allows you to set a value here that basically narrows the range of the color scheme that represents the amount of curvature. So you'll see less of this range of color. Where Relative uses the whole color scheme from red to green to show the dynamics of the curve. You can also change this color scheme by clicking the ramp and choose from any gradient that you have saved on your swatches panel. And I'll cancel out of here. Back over in the panel, the scale slider lets you adjust the height of the visualization so you can tailor it to the size you're working at. In this ampersand, we're not seeing a dramatic difference in the height of the curves, so let me show you another example where the limit length checkbox is going to come in handy. Here I have the letter X, and when I turn on the Curvature Visualizer effect, there's such a dramatic difference between the steep curves around the serifs and the areas where the curves flatten out, and this is a good time to turn on the limit length checkbox. I have it set to 30 points here, and this helps keep those steep curves in a range where I can actually zoom in and make adjustments to them. Now let's go back to the ampersand and we'll continue our tour of the panel. And we'll look at the opacity setting. I'll type in 70%, and now you can see the gradient superimposed over the black fill of the ampersand. For these anchor points on the left, the visualization is displayed to the left of these curves. And the transparency makes it a little easier to see that for both the inner and outer curves in this character. The positioning is set to above original by default. And here's what it looks like when we change that to below original. It obscures the gradient for that inner curve. Now let's change this to replace original. And we can focus on the path without its appearance. And I'll change this back to above original. And here's another setting that can make the visualization even more clear when you're working with inner and outer curves on a letter form like this. It's this checkbox, Subgroup by Segment. And when I check on this, you can see the difference where the two gradients overlap. And when I move the handles, you can see the visualization for the inner curve. And then here's the one for the outer curve. So when you have visualizations that overlap, the Subgroup by Segment checkbox will help you sort them out. Next, we have just a couple of options left to look at, and I'm using the example of a perfect circle, a square with regular rounded corners, and a square with squircular corners that I drew with the Astute Graphics Dynamic Shapes tool. Now I'll apply the effect to all of these, clicking the Apply button, and this uninterrupted green visualization is showing a constant curvature all the way around the circle, and it's constant at each rounded corner until it gets to the flat segments. And on the squircular corners, the transition is not constant, but it's pleasingly gradual, going down into these flat segments. And over in the panel, you can see I'm using the absolute setting. And remember, this gives you control over the dynamic range in the visualization. But watch when I turn on the relative setting, which displays the whole color scheme from green to red. So it can be even more sensitive in what it reveals. And it's showing us a nerdy fact about Bezier curves, which is that even on a perfect circle, the curvature is not perfectly constant. This is just an illustration of how this visualization reveals the mathematics of curves on a practically microscopic level. And you can control just how sensitive it is with the settings for your particular use, whether you're perfecting a font design or working on an exacting package design. Now let's look at the quality setting. It's set to 5 by default, and I'll turn it down to 1, and you can see it looks like gradient banding, but this is revealing the individual shapes that make up this visualization. And this, in mathematics terminology, is another nerdy fact. This is called a curvature comb, like a hair comb with teeth. With the quality turned down to 1, we have fewer individual shapes along this curve, fewer teeth on the curvature comb. So the quality setting allows you to display fewer shapes or more shapes, and at the lowest setting, we really see how the Curvature Visualizer is working at all these points along the curve. Now I'll go to the Flyout menu, and we'll look at the options here. First, you can remove all selected Curvature Visualizer effects like this. And I'll undo that. And then going back to the Flyout menu, we also have the option here to detach the selected effects. And when I do that, the effect is expanded, and we have all the individual shapes along the curve now separated from the original path. So by now, you've seen what a versatile effect the Curvature Visualizer is. It's great for zeroing in on troublesome extra anchor points, for making those subtle adjustments to help you perfect curves, and for showing us the previously unseen mathematics at work behind our vector curves in Adobe Illustrator. It's the Curvature Visualizer effect, part of the Stylism plugin from Astute Graphics.